Alright, it's now time to start jumping into the Legomaster627's Creations events. Next year, we're going to be hitting the 5-year anniversary of this world. I know that's over a year away, but the point is, I just want to make something clear. I've been actually wanting to start doing the Creations World events for a good while, actually. And that's the thing. I think I told you guys a long time ago I would start doing the ones for the Creations World. Since I already did it for everywhere else, like, the backyard, the labs, Legos Island, the only one I never did until now was the Creations World. Now it's finally time to make that a reality. With all that being said, here is possibly the shortest possible ever event story. This is Saturday Stories, episode 99, which means we are one away to 100, which hope to God will take place on Saturday, May 13th. Let's get into it. Oh, and I better be quick about this, because it is like 21 minutes to midnight. This shouldn't take long at all. The problem I'm worried about is getting it uploaded beforehand. In order to do that, we need to do this like right now. To kick it all off, the first ever event took place only 2 months after the world was created, and this was Halloween 2019. It started on October 1st and ended on November 2nd. It originally was supposed to end November 1st, however I forgot to take it down, so it ended November 2nd instead. Just 1 day late of its original end date, so hey, at least that's not bad. The world, oh my god, I'm so used to saying Legos Island for this. The world was decorated with a ton of slime, and a ton of creepy Halloween decorations, such as having all the houses and buildings have said mob heads on them to make it look very scary. Traditional Halloween decorations were also around as well. Because it's the first event in the entire Creations world, I'm surprised of how freaking insane I went for this. The village had to personally, and I mean personally, be the most I went crazy for this event. The amount of dedication, as you can see, and by the way, this was during Late Night Countdowns for October 2019. Point is, the village was the most decked I had ever done. So without further ado, with it being the first event in the entire world, I'm just surprised how big I made it, honestly. And with all that genuinely being said, of course, the world was, of course, centered at nighttime. Of course, some rooms were not decorated, as, of course, again, it was the very first event. So it was as expected that some things would be small. With all that being said, the village had to be my personal favorite, of course, because it was all covered in slime. Like I said, this was the most absolutely insane I ever went with a Creations World event. And it was only the first event in the entire world. So I was genuinely shocked. With all that being said, I truly do like this. It was pretty crazy that this ended up being the first event rather than a usual grand opening party. But granted though, this world is all about creating stuff and not making events. Hence why there's not that many events in the Creations world. Speaking of the only other event to occur this year, the Christmas party. Starting on December 17th, 2019, and ending on January 7th, 2020, originally having an end date of December 31st, or actually January 1st, respectively. It ended a few days late because once, like Halloween, I forgot to take it down. So with all that being said, that is insane. Like Halloween, the Creations world was decorated with a ton of Christmas decorations. For it being only the second event, and also the first Christmas event, I'm surprised how much was implemented. I think it's only just because of how much I learned in all previous years of doing it on the island and labs and backyard respectively. So doing it in an entirely new world was nothing new to me. Either way, this had to be obviously the smallest Christmas party, as of course we were only 4 months into the world's existence. So it was as expected that this would end up being the smallest Christmas event, whereas later years would be much bigger. Like Halloween, that is exactly what the case was. Later years, these events would end up becoming way bigger in scale. Well, At least up until 2023 when I'm finally deciding to, downscale. Yeah, look out for that at the end of the year. Oh boy. I'll tell you though. I'll admit, this was, I think, the first and only Creations World Christmas event to actually have it at daytime. Hey, what do you know? Something for a change. It wasn't all at nights. That's right. It was actually a day and night cycle. Okay, so never mind. Apparently I did it a year earlier. I thought it all started in 2020. But this was the first Christmas event I had ever made ever since the 2015 Zola's Lab 2 Christmas party to be at daytime as well alongside nighttime. While the 2015 Christmas party in Zola's Lab 2 was all at daytime, it was nice to finally see that concept back, but with nighttime implemented alongside it. So that was another cool touch. The Advent calendar was also introduced during this time as well, with a 12-day calendar, which would later become 25 days in all years after this. It was seriously a really cool event, and a nice way to wrap up 2019, even though there wasn't that much going into this. In fact, obviously, because 2019 was the least supported year for this world, it obviously had the least amount of episodes. In fact, actually, I think this was actually the last episode for 2019 alone, as... Oh, never mind. We still had 2 other episodes after this. But ironically, it ended up being the 21st episode. The 20th episode of the whole series. Not much really happened after this, which is why the video automatically ends right here. Oh, so that barely wasted any time. I have plenty of time to upload this. Yay. Sorry if there wasn't much. The 2019 was an extremely small year for the Creations world. But as we go into 2020 and all years after that, these years get way bigger as I devote more time and attention to the Creations world in all later years. 2019 had to be the least supportive year, obviously, because it was the first year. And with all that being said, again, all years later, I pay more attention to this world, and I still do it to this very day in 2023. And we'll continue to do it for a good while. The events get way bigger, and there are way more events in all later years, so please check back in later weeks. Now, as for the 100 Saturday Stories, I have no clue what that's going to be. But, guys, I'm going to get this up before midnight. I'm like 14 minutes away from, knocking it out before midnight. At least where I am. So, I'll get you in the next one. We'll be taking a look at the Creations world again on May 20th, where we'll be diving in to the 2020 events. Look out for that.